Kyle podcast, you get one of two things. You're getting a really low ceiling, really low ceiling. Mm-hmm. You walk in, tall guys have to crouch.
Okay.
Or you're getting a really tall floor. You're walking into that house, and you got to take 3 steps up.
Yeah, to get in there.
Either way, though, it's uncomfortable, and it's not very good.
No. When this maybe happens, we're going to have a road trip to the Billboard. We'll try to do it on a Saturday or something. Go to a local pub. Anyone who shows up, we're buying a round of drinks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but only if you donated, of course. We don't want any freeloaders out there. Like, just showing up. Sorry, loser. Looks like you're drinking pond scum.
Yeah, you go drink. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get a follow-through from Willie the Weird Kid who wears one shoe and eats mud. That's what this podcast is now. Shamelessly trying to get cheeses.
We're cheese whores. Couple of cheese whores back for another episode.
Not even ashamed about it.
What was the clip about Willie the Weird Kid eating mud shoes?
I don't know how you don't remember that, Steve. That's hearkening back to one of our great conversations.
About?
When we were talking about Willie the Weird Kid wearing one shoe, eating mud. A peek behind the curtain that I've talked about before. When I put these together, almost every week, timing works out with the pieces I use from last week's episode. It usually works fine. This week, a couple of factors contributed to the fact that they just did not. One of the big factors, probably me, not being 100% coherent while I was putting together this introduction.
Oh, okay. So there was a little distraction.
So it was either between those audio pieces, there's going to be like a 4.5 to 6 second silence between them all, or I find in the insane archives of intro audio pieces that I have saved something short around 4 seconds
about Willie the Weird Kid eating mud and his shoes.
And it just so happened I try to match it up so there's a Steve-centric clip and then a me, so on and so forth.
Yeah, we're trading jabs back and forth, trading funnies.
It's like an intro boxing match. Mm-hmm. And this week,
cross jab.
I like how you've done the cross, jab, and the hook, and they were all the exact same punch.
Yeah. Well, it's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Sure.
You don't get a whole lot of variety.
Yeah,
you didn't see the Rock'em Sock'em Robots throwing like a left jab and then a right cross. So it was just straightforward punch, straightforward punch. It's jab, I guess. Is that a jab?
Yeah, the jab. Yeah, the jab is the straightforward. So it's almost like
jab, it's like you kind of turn. Yeah,
a little bit.
This is like fighting Irish.
This is waist high punches with elbows tucked in. And like just straightforward movement.
Right.
So it's not like Mike Tyson's Punch Out where you still only had. Did you only have one punch on that game? Like it was just punch and then block.
I don't know. Was he able to punch with? I think he could punch with both hands. Because
in my mind, it was like the only different punches, like if your energy bar got totally full and you dropped that big haymaker on Glass Joe or whatever.
Mm-hmm. We should have a boxing competition.
Like real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we'll do a fundraiser for like sick dogs or something. And but the only punches.
Okay, so first, the hardest part of this whole thing is not going to be getting participants to box. We need to find a sick dog charity that we need to get up. Now, like the flu?
No, I think something a little more...
Like serious?
Yeah.
Like limb loss dogs?
Yeah.
Like they lost a leg?
I like it. I like it because we're using our limbs to help their lack of limbs. So we'll call it Limbs for Limbs.
Steve and Kyle boxing for LLD. That's limb loss dogs.
I like Limbs for Limbs.
Limbs for Limbs, okay.
Yeah. And 4 is obviously the number.
The number 4, yeah, because it's got to be modern, yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, so
Steve
we're
and Kyle's Limbs for Limbs box off. And
so now is it just you and I? Is it a group?
You know that we're storyboarding this as we speak.
Okay, good.
And the catch is you're only allowed to punch like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Like we'll have somebody build us an apparatus.
Yeah.
So the only punches are straight out.
It's going to be an intricate system of pulleys that refuse to allow your arms to move.
Yeah.
So
we'll probably have to be suspended from some kind of rigging overhead.
So I think we're air boxing with pulleys for limbless dogs. That's where we're at?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That I think you summarized it well.
So where we're at is now we need, like, whoever signs up, because of course the entry fee all goes to the limbless dogs, the LLD. Say, if you have, like, if you're one of those weird people. Like, did you ever have those kids in school, like, super gangly arms?
Yeah.
They're like the human embodiment of the inflatable tube, man.
When you're in middle school, like, before you've, like, grown into yourself. So you're just elbows and knees.
Those guys win automatically. You and I are like normal people. We extend with these. We're not getting any damage. Mm-hmm. But those freaks of nature, they're flailing around. They can somehow reach our noses.
No, the apparatus will prevent that.
You get a double jointed, long armed freak, and he's gonna punch you in the nose.
I don't know. I feel like when we start designing the apparatus, we'll make sure to take that into consideration.
Oh boy, we're designing this too.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, we have to tell the welder or the fabricator how to do it.
I feel like we just need to pawn off the responsibilities for this in terms of marketing and detail to obviously our marketing guru, who has helped us take
Zach,
Lucky Billy to unfound heights in the candy bar world.
Yeah. Zach, your first assignment: organize the Limbs for Limbs, or the Steve and Kyle Limbs for Limbs charity box off. We want to have it like
a logo. We need it organized, and we'd like this
by the end of the summer.
I was thinking like Friday, close of business, COB.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we have to be realistic.
Okay, so you're telling me that this box off is the new priority for the Steve and Kyle podcast, where we will be. Again,
absolutely.
To fully recap what's happening, this is a box off for the charity of limbless dogs, where competitors will be dangling from an unmade, undesigned, unbuilt apparatus that will only allow you to punch like a rock'em sock'em robot.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't see why this thing isn't televised over. This feels like ESPN2 on like a Friday night all over it.
Yeah.
We got a little bar at the bottom where it keeps the donations to the LLD updated, and the viewers can watch it, skyrocket upward as the night goes on, as all of our celebrity volunteers box off dangling in the air. So we don't even need a ring, but we're going to put a ring there?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes boxing.
Is the presence of the ring that will not be used.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we got that all worked out. I'm glad that we're starting off this episode on a charitable note.
As
By the
always.
way, it's Sunday, June 10th, 2018. The year of our Lord, 11:57 a.m. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast, episode number 99. And I don't like doing that. We've never done that before.
Yeah, but once we get to 100, it's done.
To the last
we
few,
won't talk about it again until it's like, oh, hey, 150's coming around.
Yeah.
And then,
you think we'll make it to 100?
No.
You think something will go down in the next 6 days?
Yeah. We need to start a big beef right here on this episode so that by the end, everybody listening's like, they're probably okay, but that got a little weird, right? Like,
I wonder if they'll make it.
Like, tensions got raised.
Yeah.
And then, like, in the middle of the week, maybe we delete a social media account. Or the name changes to the Steve podcast.
Yeah.
And then I, like, kick you off the Facebook.
So, like, the Twitter account is for the Steve podcast, but the Facebook is for
like
the
Kyle
Steve Sucks
podcast.
The Kyle podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, no. We've split.
The social media war, passive-aggressive, obviously. But then, without ever acknowledging it, we sit down here in 1 week.
Switch them all back.
Record another episode, and it's totally fine. We become the Mike and Mike of podcasting to where we don't speak and we just fight nonstop passive-aggressively.
Right.
But we sit down, we give you an hour 40 to 2 hours every week of good content.
I think we need to vague book a couple times in the next week.
Yeah.
Like where we just post a message that says like, well, it was fun. and then a picture, but it's instead of a picture, it's just black.
It's a solid black, borderless, black square,
or a tombstone or something.
Yeah, right. Either that, or post one of those inspirational quotes about love and loss and moving on, like from Gandhi or something. See you around the bend, everybody.
Abraham Lincoln.
Absolutely. These are all things that need to happen to put doubt in everybody's mind that we won't make it to episode 100.
Man, I am so excited about the Steve and Kyle podcast, Limbs for Limbs.
Limbs for Limbs box off. Now, again, we'll be taking
charity box off.
Charity box off. Sorry,
so
that's right.
Zach, the Steve and Kyle podcast, Limbs for the number Limbs.
Yeah.
Charity box off. The logo, I can see it right now. It's going to be 2 Rock'em Sock'em robots going at it, and maybe in each corner is a limbless dog.
Oh, Jesus. Does it have to be fully limbless, or can it just be missing a limb?
Maybe like half a limb.
Oh, wow, half.
Yeah.
What's worse? Now, if you lose, let's say you lose your arm.
Yeah.
You want it to the elbow, or you just take it all?
Oh, I think take it all, because nobody wants the nub.
No, because then you're going to have that interaction. I think with the elbow nub, you're risking the idea that someone's going to walk up and just see maybe a shirt sleeve or whatever and stick out their hand to shake, not realizing it's a weird dangling elbow nub.
Yeah,
and then they try, and then they, what do? Do you apologize and just switch to the other hand immediately?
I think so.
Or do you shake the nub?
Boy, that's a tough one. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I correct myself. You know what? Actually, here's what I do. I walk up, I stick my hand out, I see it's an elbow nub, I shake my head, and I walk away. So in their mind, I have a problem with limbless people.
Yeah, so you look at them right in the eye and say, not today.
But in my mind, I've just offended everybody's sensibility, and I need to leave.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is the Steve and Kyle podcast, Limbs for Limbs box off, is for limbless dogs.
Yeah.
Not so you're never shaking a dog's hand. Except, when the dog is sitting there and you say, hey, shake, and it hands its paw to you, but you can just make it do it with the other one if you're grossed out.
Right.
Although maybe we have it so it's specifically for dogs missing back legs, so you never have to worry about the handshake.
I don't know if there's sadder, and I know that their quality of life is vastly improved by it, but when I see those videos of dogs with
the carts. Yeah. It's all in the way that the video is produced.
Right.
It needs to show dog at the beginning, like Sarah McLachlan, Tears of an Angel or whatever song playing. And then
no, you didn't hear that? That's Tears of an Injured Dog.
Oh, Tears of an Injured Dog.
That's what Sarah McLachlan's newest album was called.
And then maybe it's like pulling itself along the carpet.
Oh, God.
But then there's a triumphant music burst, and all of a sudden you see the dog running around a track. And it's got its little cart behind him. Smiling from ear to ear.
What is the... Oh, I believe it's the Dodo.
The Dodo? What's
Dodo,
that?
I think that's a Twitter account that posts those videos.
Really?
About, the Dodo, the cat, there, I just typed it in. This cat has the cutest outfits to match her favorite foods.
Oh, man.
Give me the snacks. It's a big dog eating a bowl of ice cream. This rescued bird can't stop kissing the woman who saved him, but the thumbnail is absolutely this bird biting her face. So I don't think that's true. And so that's what that account is. Okay. So what we're doing is a charity box off for those animals.
Yeah.
So we'll take all of your carted dogs, bring them in. We'll have a whole carted dog seating section so they can sit and watch the boxing. And so another thing I was thinking, though, with Zach is I don't know why it's stuck in my mind. Maybe it's because of how stupid this whole thing sounds. I want, the Dare font, from your Dare t-shirt, where it's almost like a paint splatter.
Yeah.
But even if it's just the number 4 in Dare font, I need a Dare font on this Limb for Limb charity box off for the Limbless Dog Association, LLDA.
Zach, get out your pencil because we got to update this. The Steve and Kyle podcast, Limbs Number 4 in the Dare font.
In the Dare font.
Maybe all of Limbs for Limbs.
I'm going to leave that to the designer.
Yeah, Limbs for Limbs, but specifically the 4 is the number 4. Limbs for Limbs. Charity box off. 2 Rock'em Sock'em robots in the ring going at it, and a limbless dog
in each corner.
In each corner.
And again, the Rock'em Sock'em robots are in the air.
Right. So they're suspended like they're being controlled by a marionette.
Yeah. I think this thing is the new way to do charity. Now anybody can have a donate to help a limbless dog, but how many of those are going the extra mile to stage a boxing event with dangling participants?
Yeah.
Now because in my mind it's almost like a trapeze, so where if you turn the wrong way, all of a sudden your apparatus, you're spinning and you're swinging back and forth, so it's one of those where like they back up and you're like, oh boy, it's going to be a big collision, and then the collision's massive, but the whole time they're both just going like baby punches from their waist.
Yeah. Oh man, I like this a lot. I think it's gonna draw a big audience.
Yeah.
Lots of money raised.
Now, let me tell you my experience with boxing. It was when I was a younger man.
Like participating in it?
Yes. When I was a younger man, my brother and I decided that, instead of your standard, wrestle or whatever, let's box. Now, obviously, my parents weren't, included in this knowledge. Here? But I was probably, I'd guess, 8 to 10.
Okay.
Maybe. Which puts him 2.5 years, 3 years older than me, and he's already 6'6" now, which means he probably had a foot on me then. So,
still slow as anything, though, right? I mean, Robert was never fast, right?
Boy, his fists would say otherwise.
In this situation?
Okay. So my brother and I, we made our boxing gloves. So what we did by, quote, making our boxing gloves, Steve, we went to the closet. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please do.
I'm thinking, let's see, young Kyle, young Robert, in a quest for boxing supremacy in the house.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you took like kitchen hand towels, maybe wrapped them around your hand and then like put duct tape on them.
Come on, Steve. We weren't on the other side. We weren't born on the other side of the tracks. We went to the closet and we got all the spare mittens we could find. So we each had like 3 pairs of mittens on.
Oh, yeah, that's basically a boxing glove.
And thought, no, that'll feel fine. That'll feel like and I don't know, at some point, apparently the kid rule of don't punch in the face went by the wayside.
Probably about 3 seconds after the bell.
Yeah. And boy, did my bottom 4 teeth pay the price when they were shattered into my own mouth. And they are still like... not like replace, but where they essentially use the bonded stuff and rebuild your teeth from the shattered mess that it was.
You said 8 years old, so you're well on to adult teeth at that age. Oh, boy.
Yeah. So that went over. My parents were thrilled. They had to go to the dentist, and it's one of those where your teeth are shattered, so they're jagged. And like 1 or 2 of them was broken just far enough so that when you breathe, it feels like someone's stabbing you like in the tooth.
The whistle of air.
Yeah, and it just hurts. Yeah, so I'll say it. I don't think this one could go worse. And that's mainly because I can only be punched what appears to be in the kidneys and liver by this Rock'em Sock'em robot contraption.
So what you're saying is you could have benefited from a limbs for limbs style box off for people with busted teeth.
Yes. If there was a charity for children with busted teeth, I would have been a recipient, or I would have been ringside while those idiots were dangling Rock'em Sock'em roboting. And the camera zooms in. They're like, oh, look at that. One of the kids from the busted teeth children group here at ringside with us, and then I do like the fake, like put my hands up like I'm a boxer, and then I smile, and they see like like a hillside that a Jeep would climb on of rocks, just up, down, left, right, one wedged into another.
A mountain range.
Yeah, right. The dentist opens. Oh, Jesus! Never seen anything like it. Yeah, that's this one can't be worse.
I also had an early boxing experience.
Oh, did you and Mike?
No. Oh. Well, this is arguably too late to be taking part in fake boxing.
So you're bordering fake and like, hey, we're kind of pissed.
Yeah.
Real?
Yeah.
Like 14?
Well, I was drunk when it happened.
Oh my God.
It was in college. It was my sophomore year of college.
Okay.
Some friends of mine had they had moved off campus sophomore year. They had a townhouse. And then maybe like 3 doors down from their place was some other friends of mine. And so we're at my one friend's house, and then we hear through the grapevine, hey, so-and-so down the block's having a party.
Oh,
so we go.
You were going to say, so-and-so down the road's having a boxing party. Want to go?
Well, so we go down there, and the people's place that we went to, they were always through like, they were always the ones that had like the ridiculous stories of like stuff that happened at their parties, or like, hey, so-and-so fell out of the car 10 miles from here and had to walk back, or like just the stuff that you're like, there's no way, like this doesn't happen in normal life. Sure. But for them, it was completely normal. So we walk in, and 2 guys have boxing gloves on, and they're like sparring in the living room. We're like, that's funny. So
actual gloves.
I mean, I don't know how real, like they looked like boxing
they were
gloves.
red gloves.
I'm sure,
that fit.
They were red gloves. I'm sure that they cost like, $15 at Goodwill or something. So at one point, after drinking a lot, I put on a pair of gloves, and my buddy Brian Driver put on a pair of gloves, and he was on like the baseball team in college, so he was pretty athletic, pretty competitive. And no matter what the competition was, he did not want to lose. Beer pong, he didn't want to lose. If you were having a catch with because for a while we like played these like pickup games of softball out in the one field. Like even if you were just having a catch with him, he was going to he was going to make sure you knew that he knew how to throw a softball or a baseball. So like he'd throw it 95 miles an hour and break your hand. So I put on a pair of gloves. He puts on a pair of gloves. And we're just like, doing the fighting Irish pose where you got the arms out in front of you, the rock'em sock'em.
Did you do one of those where you're supposed to, I forget what that style is, where you put one of your hands over your face and then the other arm like through?
Yeah.
You do that?
Like the Urkel?
Yeah,
like
right?
Urkel style fighting?
That, it's like, hey, you're all sharing a laugh.
Right.
About different ways to fight.
So then he like clips me with a punch, but like in the shoulder or something. I do the same thing, hit him back. Well, he didn't like that. So
what do you think's gonna happen though?
So he hit me pretty hard, like in the chest.
Okay.
And I just like clock back, and with as hard as I can, I swing with my right. I'm sure it was the most gangly, stupid, drunk punch ever. And hit him square in the nose.
Oh, boy.
Which immediately exploded.
Oh, no.
There was blood everywhere. And so he's like trying to wipe it up. He's like, no, I'm fine. Let's keep going.
Oh, my God.
Nope,
oh, boy.
Nope. No.
Starting to shake your gloves off. Throw them against the other side of the house.
Calling for my ringman to cut my gloves off.
Cut them off!
No, we are done. And I have not put the gloves back on since.
Wow. So do you think it's safe to say Brian Driver,
yeah,
would have probably like caved in your orbital bone?
Probably.
If you had let him keep going?
He probably had 5 to 6 inches on me. Plus he was in much better shape than I was, because he was a college athlete. So he worked out all the time.
So Brian Driver's nose is broken.
Yeah.
So did you go visit him in the hospital?
I did not.
Did you apologize?
Let's see if I can find him.
Did you apologize?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I did.
You felt bad about broken the man's nose, but not bad enough to go visit him on the date of his nose reconstruction.
No, I don't think it was ever reconstructed. I found him.
Steve, that's another thing you and my brother have in common. Because my brother, not only did he make my teeth a mountain range when I was a kid, he broke my nose when I was an adult.
Oh, was that softball?
That was a softball injury. And just like you and poor Brian Driver, they woke up with nothing, nobody with them in the hospital. Nobody cared.
No one there.
I mean, my now wife. But, maybe A nice flower get-up?
Nope, nothing.
Huh.
Nothing at all.
Any edible arrangement?
Nothing, huh?
Balloon?
It's sad.
Card? Sorry? A pat on the back?
Oh, boy, that really got out of control. We won't let that happen again.
Right. So what does Brian Driver look like? Now, you said he had... you said you found him?
Yeah, I found him, but it's one of those Facebook profiles where it's...
Nothing on there?
Nothing. I can tell...
Yeah, it's obviously him, though.
I can tell where he worked 2 years ago.
Well, boy, so you know more about Brian Driver than your own brother.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Guy switched work 2 years ago. Steve sent him a congrats on the new gig. But his own brother switches 4 years ago.
Big confirmation right here, though.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. Do we think Brian Driver's on Twitter? Because now the only goal I have in life is to talk to Brian Driver and ask him about the rage he felt when Jersey Steve decided to break his nose.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
All right. Well, that's a new mission. We need to talk to maybe dead Jack, who you insulted that used to be your boss, that you legitimately think may be dead.
Might be.
And we need to talk to Brian Driver. We need to get Steve's past. You think we could knock it out in one conversation?
Boy, that would be awkward.
Jack, why'd you hate Steve? Brian, how mad were you when he broke your nose? Both go at once. Don't need to wait.
Oh, man. I can't think of anything that I'd want to do less than make both of those phone calls.
Oh, yeah. I really do want to talk to Brian Driver, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have not talked to him one time since
you broke his nose?
No. We were still
okay.
Yeah, we were still friends. The rest of college. I think we I don't think we were as close like senior year.
Sure.
But because I just didn't see him. I never saw him as much.
Okay.
Because he lived with a couple of friends, and then they all kind of did their own thing.
They lived in the party house.
Lived in the party at 22 Matilda Terrace.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Still there.
I think it was knocked down, actually.
Oh, really? I was going to say, that feels like a road trip.
No, somebody...
Because
one of the guys that lived in the party house down the block,
yeah.
I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he had posted maybe 6 months ago.
Sure.
I guess he had driven by there or something, and they were like knocking it down to build all these nice new condos.
Huh.
That was the place, I think on the podcast, I've talked about this, maybe on the radio show. We were, I was never really into wrestling at all. Like, even as a kid, I mean, like, I was kind of into it, but I didn't really follow it. But once
you were in the Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, that era, which was regarded as like the golden age of wrestling.
So when I got to college, a couple of friends, like a few people that I met, they were into wrestling, but they weren't like into wrestling. They were like, hey, let's watch Monday Night Raw and sit around and laugh. And so that was the group. And then it became like everybody else, like I know you've done with your friends. Yeah. You create your own wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking to Billy Backdraft.
Yeah, exactly. You have your own wrestling persona.
Yeah.
And so we did the same thing. I don't remember what I was. I don't remember what my character was. But we took it one step further where one night we threw the couch cushions in the middle of the floor.
Okay, yeah.
And we decided we're going to choreograph
a match.
A match.
Oh, God.
And we videotaped the whole thing.
Okay, well, new goal in life. The only thing I care about, Brian Driver, sorry, backseat. Jack the dead boss, sorry, trunk. Right now, the only goal I have in life is to find the videotape of Steve and his friends coordinating a couch cushion wrestling match, presumably with commentary by yourselves.
Yes.
With moves made by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody wanted to lose. So I'm guessing you both just traded about 18 different finishing moves and kept getting up.
Yeah, that's a fairly accurate description of how things went.
Okay.
The one thing I remember, there was the place next door to 22 Matilda Terrace. We'll say it's probably either 18 or 20 Matilda Terrace. there was a group of very attractive college girls that lived there.
Sure.
So the goal was always, like, whenever my friends were having a party at their place, like, hey, talk to the girls next door, see if they want to come over.
Yeah. They want to come by, hang out, don't they?
Of course, that never happened.
No,
not even once.
It's much easier to talk about than to actually do it.
I'll tell you about the time that they did come over. And it was God,
I think you told the story.
It was when they walked in the back door, the back screen door, while we were in the middle of our wrestling ballet in the living room. And they, like, what's going on in here? Swing the door open.
You've got a guy like fireman's carry over your shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, like a driver's about to give me, the people's elbow. And in the video, you see me, like, you can hear off camera, you hear the door open. You hear, like, what are you guys doing? And then you see me jump up and run up the steps and hide.
God. Oh, they didn't see me. I got up the steps fast enough. Who do I need to talk to in the Steve world that will give me this videotape?
If anyone has it, it's this guy Ray, who I was very good friends with.
Uh-huh.
And then we had a bad falling out.
Oh, man.
And I haven't talked to him in 10 years, probably. Maybe long, maybe 12 years.
Oh, man. So what I'm hearing is that we need to patch... First things first, we need to get that videotape. Mm-hmm. And second, patch things up with Ray.
Might be tough to do them in that order.
What if I cold call Ray?
I still...
my God, what's his name?
No. Nope.
Come on, we've got the end.
Not doing that.
We have got the end, so we call him up.
I still remember his phone number. He was one of the first people I knew who had a cell phone.
Oh, okay.
So I remember his number, but I think at some point he gave his phone, because he moved to, like, Texas, and he gave his phone to his brother, Ed, who we always referred to as Sex Ed. So I guess we could call... I could get in touch with Sex Ed to see if he has Ray's new number.
Okay.
But I don't want to do that.
But just think of how convenient this in is that we have developed on this podcast. So we call this idiot. Mm-hmm. We don't call him that, though. And I say, Ray, my name is Kyle. Now, you don't know me, Ray. But I am a friend and podcast co-host to somebody you used to know nearly and dearly. And that is Steve. Now, please don't hang up, Ray, because what I'm about to have done for you is sure to bond you two back closer than you ever were before.
That's not going to happen.
Now, let me tell you this briefly. Steve lives in Michigan now, and he has a wife. You're all caught up.
That's it. That's everything that's happened in the last dozen years.
Most importantly, another thing to remember is that he's worked on this just for you. And then I go, Steve, take it away.
And what am I doing?
Your signature line.
That's a spicy meatball?
No, the big impression you've been working on.
Which one is that?
From the Field of Dreams.
Oh, of course.
So I say, again, I do that whole comment. Now, we don't have this. We've ironed this out before.
Sure, yeah.
So I have what I just told you.
I never even made the connection. Ray, of course.
Hey, Ray, Steve's married, has a dog, yada, lives in a house. He's in Michigan now. Hey, before we get going, Steve's been working on this just for you. So, Steve.
Ray. People will come, Ray. Wait, no. Reset it again.
Okay. Hey, Ray. Steve's in Michigan now. Wife, dog, all the hoopla around it. No kids yet. We don't know if he can either. And then, but most important thing to remember, Ray, is Steve's been working on this for you, and he wants to tell you something.
Ray, give me the wrestling tape, Ray. People will come, Ray.
Okay. I swear to God, we're patching friendships right now. That's how we do it. That's your in. You drop the impression from the 1980s film Field of Dreams, James Earl Jones, on your former friend Ray.
Yeah.
So we can get this wrestling videotape, and then you block his number everywhere. We've got what we wanted.
Yeah.
And so we get the Steve way too old to be coordinating wrestling videotape. So we have for all of time.
That is one of the most embarrassing things I think ever happened to me.
The fact that you ran away like you might be the Flash and nobody would see you is probably the most amazing reaction. Like, in my mind, I probably would have done like no, he's sick. I'm carrying him to the couch. Why aren't the cushions on the couch?
Well, you need a firm couch for sickness.
His back hurts too.
God.
Man.
I was such a loser.
All right. So,
I still am.
So we're going to call and get a hold of Sex Ed to get us Ray's number so we can get this wrestling video. This doesn't seem like too many hoops to jump through for this at all.
No.
And what could go wrong?
I'm sure he still has it. I'm sure he still watches it like on a weekly basis.
Right. I'm sure everybody keeps their old VHSs.
Yeah. But there is that part about how we had... Ooh, you hear that?
Wow. Another nice one. I've had to now, if you didn't hear that audibly, that was another throat noise from Steve. Now, all of last year, leading into the Steve 16, the National Throat Goblin Championship, I had one list of like times and dates to pull this stuff from, and I kept up on it. Well, this year I decided I'll just catalog them, and maybe I'll go back and do it.
Yeah.
I can't. I have to set aside probably 1 to 2 hours now in the coming weeks to pull the current throat noises because I've had to go to a second row.
What are we up to?
It's almost like an Excel spreadsheet. Now, since the tournament ended or since the new season started of Steve's throat noises, we are at 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. This is the 17th.
So we have one whole half of the country already determined.
Yeah, with one to spare.
Yeah. I think we're going to 64.
Boy, 64 is aggressive, but you might be right.
It's been 3 months and we're a quarter of the way there.
If we get to 64, as a reminder, we have to start this in January.
Yeah.
Or we have to do multiple matchups in the first week where we do the first and second round like they do in the tournament.
Yeah.
And that's just to get done by April. Because with 64, you go... That's 6 weeks, Steve. That is 6 weeks.
Quite a bit.
And that is a whole separate show of just playing the clips. I can't believe this. Again, the only week you've missed is April 2nd with a throat noise. And I want to bet...
What was going on that week? What was going on?
Right. And I want to bet if I went through that thing with a fine-tooth comb, I bet I could dig some up.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
No, I'm not going to do that because I don't listen to the show. Not a fan of the host.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But if anybody else wanted to, please feel free. April 2nd is the only date that Steve has been missing a throat noise. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks in a row, Steve.
Yes.
Your body has so betrayed you.
You had one in there too, right?
Yeah, actually, I think I have one of the ones from last week that I might make the tournament next year.
Very nice.
Now, we're all coming in last compared to the presumed number one overall seed that was, I want to say, 2 weeks ago, where it was like 6 seconds long.
Where I was talking while it was happening.
We reacted, and it still finished after that as it came out of your mouth.
Boy, I can't wait to play all these great moments for my buddy Ray when we finally reunite.
Boy, I mean, should we just get them all caught up while on the phone?
I'm sure he'd be thrilled. Yeah, I bet there's no hard feelings after roughly 10 years of not speaking.
It's got to thaw, So I think we start this up by sending him a sympathy card. I'm sure he's lost someone in the last 10 years.
He went through. I know from a mutual friend or somebody that for a while still talked to him. I know he went through a bit of a rough patch.
Okay.
There was one time that I reached out to him, probably in 2008 or 2009, because he was in a horrendous car accident.
Oh boy!
And, because he had some medical issues, and...
That's the end. Send him a get well soon card.
Well, he might be fine.
Might be. So we send him this get well soon card and say, sorry to hear about your accident. What did you think of the 08 election?
Give us the tapes.
P.S. Do you still have that wrestling tape? Ha ha ha.
But seriously, do you?
You could send a get well. I've included a self-addressed stamped envelope with another sympathy card to follow up with me. Okay, man, we're patching things up. That's what we're gonna do, Jack.
Fixing things.
God, so that's another one. Dead Boss Jack, Brian Dryber, the boxing buffoon, and now Ray, the victim of a car accident, and the owner of the wrestling tapes.
He was not a boxing buffoon. I don't know.
Listen, I'm just using your words.
I'm going to humanize these people to you right now.
Oh, you have a picture?
I'm going to pull up a picture.
Okay.
Of
Brian, Jack, and Ray.
I don't think I have that exact combination. I have me, Brian, and Ray though.
Okay.
Let's see. Give me a second. Okay. Here is. Let's see.
You didn't punch Ray's teeth out, did you, or break his nose?
No.
Okay, good.
No, never.
Because it seems like in the story of this, the person that should be more upset with you is Brian Dryber, in order, without knowing details.
Probably.
In order of people not being okay with you. In order. Dead Jack, boxing buffoon Brian Dryber, then we don't know if Jack's dead, Steve. That's why I like to put that. You can't see it or hear it on the podcast, but I put dead in quotes because we just don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
You've speculated he might be dead.
I said I guess I kind of did speculate that he might be dead. I guess he got me there.
So we await this photo, and really all I want to see is if it shows the height difference you described between you and Brian Dryber. You said he had like 6 to 8 inches on you.
Where is it? All right, you may have to give me a little time. I know I have it. I know I had it somewhere. I used to have a bunch of old like college pictures on.
Yeah.
Me, and boy, were they not good.
Well, I think this is the beginning of a new segment here on the Steve and Kyle podcast where it will quickly go by the wayside, just like 2 minutes of awkward conversation that I promise you we are bringing back. Yeah. But when you see our rundown that we have today, there's just no room. So apologies again to Carl. I promise you are on the list. You are top of the list.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'll say it, and I'll say it loudly. Carl, we're going to call you next on that list.
Next on the list is Carl.
Yep. So take it to the bank. That's cash that check. Carl, you're next. But that's the beginning of another bit here, Steve, where people can call us only if your estranged friend or family member's name is Ray, and we will reconnect you using none other than Steve.
Oh, we'll call it Reconnections.
Oh, my God!
Right?
Oh, that's done. This is a whole separate podcast, actually. We're not going to have enough time in the day for everybody who's had a falling out with a Ray that we need to reconnect on Ray Connections. And again, the only contribution we have for you is we will dial both of your phones. And if you know our track record, that's a 50-50 shot in its own right.
Good chance that won't happen.
And then what Steve will do is he'll say, Jamie, we have Ray on the line. And then you bust out.
Ray, Jamie wants to talk to you, Ray.
Boom, Ray connected. We're going to need some music for it, some sounders. At some point, Steve, you and I are going to have to quit our other jobs just to get all these podcasts going.
Boom, Ray connected.
We have currently in the hopper, Steve, we have Sports Tate.
800
1-800 Sports Tate. That's our sports show.
Yeah.
We have a version of WrestleCast.
Yep.
We have Ray Connections. And obviously, the heavy hitter, the earliest of our inventions of the site, well, not the earliest, but the most promising, the history
of the mystery.
Which we all know, we describe the era a mystery was born, and then the episode ends.
Yeah. Oh, boy, this is I found a picture.
Okay, now, does this include all three of you, or is this a...
This is a... I think it might be the first digital photo ever taken because its dimensions are like 4 pixels by 3 pixels.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really make out anything.
Oh, for God's sake.
This is me here.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can tell you.
And this is Driver up here.
So Driver's already the tallest of the group.
Yeah, and this is Ray here. Ray, for reference, Ray is probably an inch or so taller than me.
Yeah, I could see why you had a falling out with him.
Yeah?
Yeah, you just got that look of a Ray.
Then, of course, there's our good buddy Frank.
No, that looks... that you're telling me that's not... what's that painting with the screaming face?
Oh, the Scream, I think.
The Scream? That's not that?
No.
Huh.
No.
If we could isolate that and post that way, maybe with a side-by-side, Steve, because nobody can tell that's Frank. In a million years, you won't be able to tell that's Frank. And we can do a side-by-side because what that is the inspiration for the Scream.
Down here is I got Bill that I went to high school with. This is Matt.
Does Matt have a cigarette in his mouth?
He does. Yeah, okay. Very reminiscent of our logo.
Yeah, right? Yeah, only thing he's missing is an America headband.
Yep.
Or an America bandana.
This is Dave over here, and this is the infamous Will Mack right there.
Now, you all have different, like, sweatshirts. Are those all schools or, like, sports teams? Like, I can't tell, but it's all that same style with the arched words.
Yep.
And it's one word.
Well, it looks like Bill's got I believe that's a Notre Dame? Well, this is definitely Notre Dame up here, right?
Me getting closer is going to help the clarity. Yeah. So let me get my head really close.
Matt's got an LBI sweatshirt on. I couldn't tell you what mine is. I don't know. Actually, I think that this is like a high school, like we're seniors shirt. Because this was our freshman year of college.
Oh, okay. Now, is this zoomed in?
This is zoomed in. This is the original photo.
I'd wonder. You don't even need to blur it. We could post this and not have to worry about anybody's identity, Steve.
Looks like Will's probably wearing a Giants. That looks like a Giants shirt.
I believe I can see NTS, and it is a bit blue and red.
This, I think, is Syracuse.
Boy, I think you've nailed it.
Don't know why. But doesn't this look like Notre Dame? Like, doesn't that look like an ND right there? But the color would...
Yeah. Now, again, what we're doing is pointing to like 6 pixels that are a darker color than white, and that's what we're trying to base that on.
Mm-hmm. But there it is. That's the old crew from college.
Boxing buffoon Brian.
Boxing buffoon
Missing
Brian.
Ray.
Missing Ray, yeah.
Dead Jack.
Well, maybe.
I put it in quotes.
Perhaps Dead Jack.
Okay, so just to briefly here at minute 48 or 46, to recap everybody on the hashtag activity we need this week. Hashtag boxing 4 dogs, and everybody knows it's the number 4. If you use the word 4, you're blocked.
Yeah, and if, bonus points if you can find a way to post in the Dare font on Twitter.
Yeah. Make it happen. I don't handle that side of the industry. Yeah. I expect everybody else to be creative. I sit here and laugh at how stupid I am. So hashtag boxing number 4 dogs. You can actually type it like that if you want.
Or limbs number 4 limbs.
Limbs 4 limbs. Hashtag limbs 4 limbs. And also the newest one, hashtag Ray Connected. Boom. Or boom, Ray Connected.
Yeah, if you need a Ray connection, if you have had a falling out with a friend named Ray in the past, you let us know. Yeah. You give us a few details, and we'll try to make that happen.
And we can try to hook you guys back up in an intermediary situation where we play the peacekeeper using Steve's James Earl Jones impression from the film Field of Dreams.
All right, give me one more, for instance. Give me an example. So this is how it could sound.
Right. William, thank you for joining us today. Now, William, this is going to be a surprise to you, but on the other end of the line... Actually, sorry, I did that backward.
Yeah, we're calling Ray.
He knows who's on the other side. William, thank you for joining us today. As you know, we have somebody that you've kind of...
No, you're calling Ray. Because everyone that we're calling is going to be named Ray.
Well, yeah, but I'm assuming they're already both on the line. And we just haven't potted up Ray now.
Gotcha, okay.
Well, we're chatting with William.
We've called up Ray and said, hey.
Hold on, idiot.
You're on hold.
Hold on, you moron.
Someone wants a Ray connection.
And then we
Boom.
put our dial tone phone down so he can't talk. William, thank you for joining us. Now, you wanted us to reach out to somebody on your behalf today. You had a bit of a situation years ago, and you wanted that reconnected. So what we're going to do for you today is we're going to fix your friendship with your lost buddy,
Ray. William wants to talk to you, Ray. People will come.
There's tears. They audibly hug over the phone line. They exchange info. We recap on life's trials and tribulations with William and Ray. You and I sit back and enjoy the rewards.
Let the people do our show for us.
Yep, and you and I are like the Ray relationship gurus.
Oh, look at you!
Oh. So if you have any questions, hashtag Ray relationship gurus, and we can fix this all for you as long as one of the offended parties is named Ray.
Yeah, it's a big stipulation, but it's an important one.
Now, you might be thinking, hey, that's hard to find.
Why? I have that situation in my life right now. Do you know someone named Ray that you've been estranged from?
Statistically speaking, 50% of people have had a falling out with somebody named Ray.
It's true. This podcast is like what do you call it? Like a micro.
It's a microcosm
of
America,
American life.
Yeah, and if 50% of us have had a falling out with Ray, that number seems to track.
Yeah, you extrapolate those numbers to 300 million. 150 million people.
150 million, a billion people. And what you're telling us is that we have 500 million possible participants on Ray Connected.
Yeah. Ray Connected, your relationship gurus. So,
what
Zach,
if we just spend... that's another
Zach,
one.
we need some artwork for the upcoming TV show.
Yeah. I don't know why. I feel like I need an homage to Ray Charles in the logo. Maybe if it's just those glasses.
The glasses.
So Zach, again,
if you have time, throw in some Ray Charles glasses.
Yeah, if you're done drawing child cartoon animal villains, and you can fit this into your busy schedule, that'd be fantastic.
Oh, man, we have so many good ideas just in the first 53 minutes of this episode alone.
We have 5 podcasts and a charity event. Like, how do we get this?
Boy, I cannot wait for the Steve and Kyle podcast, Limbs for Limbs, Celebrity Box Off. Is it Celebrity Box Off?
How else are we going to get people
charity box off?
But we need celebrities, even if it's just like an MC.
Oh, featuring celebrities.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Starburst that, Zach. It's got to be on there somewhere.
Yeah,
featuring and just like the Lucky Billy Bar edition that you came up with, Steve. We need a Starburst with just the word featuring, and then maybe in a smaller font because we don't really want people to know just the word celebrities. And then maybe TBD.
Yes,
with
an asterisk that says maybe not.
Asterisk maybe not, and then with all the details that you no doubt put in like the footnote of the poster,
right.
The date TBD, time TBD, location TBD. But if you want to put location TBD,
coming end of summer 2018.
Okay, that's fine. Location TBD parentheses close to Steve and Kyle, because I think we can agree we're not traveling.
Not
for
traveling.
Okay.
Not a chance.
And then any lines you have on a celebrity, let us know. Otherwise, that will remain TBD asterisk maybe not.
Man, it's a busy episode today, folks.
We haven't even gotten to anything.
No,
we didn't have much to get to.
Would you like to give an update on the recent happenings?
Yes. Oh my goodness, it's taking off. It's taking off here, Steve. The big push for our billboard in rural Ohio. It has taken GoFundMe by storm this week.
Has it?
They tell me it's trending.
Who?
Never mind. A couple times this week it has said that it's this campaign is trending. Now, I don't know what that means. I assumed it was good. We have, Steve, if I could get, I don't know if we have a sound effect. In the last week, if I could get... We don't. Okay, do you want to get... Maybe can we tag team this one? Maybe a little bit of...
Hold on, I can... You know something? I got a computer in front of me.
You can find one?
I got the internet. All the internet is it's a gateway to the world.
And if there's one thing my parents and loved ones have called me, it's a time killer. So as everybody knows, we have embarked on the greatest endeavor in this podcast history. Now, this is more important... Oh!
Were you not ready?
That was pretty close, actually. You're good. Okay. Okay. In the last week, our billboard campaign has received... $5! Yay! All right, thank you!
Yeah, boy. This is... I mean... When you set out to change the world, you don't expect... you don't expect everybody to jump on board right away because they may think you're crazy. As we all know, the fastest growing way to advertise a podcast is by putting up a billboard in one town. Everybody who does a podcast knows that is the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
So for the fact that we have
$5 more than we did a week ago.
$5 more than we. So what is our grand total?
Do you want to? $255.
Yay! So last week I believe we were.
Subtract 5 from that.
We were 1/12 of the way there.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are 11 3/4 of the way there.
We are. Oh boy.
Give me the decimal.
0.085.
0.85. Yeah, so I think about roughly 11.5% of the way there, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Look at that.
We're cruising. We are cruising. So that's GoFundMe.com/GetOurPodcast on a billboard. Now,
we will not stop until we raise this money.
Yeah. And by this money, we mean however much is in there in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks. Whatever we decide, however many weeks.
Yeah.
This is on us.
We haven't done I've done a very poor job at promoting. I'm gonna write that this week. I'm actually gonna schedule tweets because got a busy week, got some traveling coming up, and need to make sure that my business is taken care of.
Right. Yeah, and this is obviously, as we talked about, the important business. GoFundMe.com/GetOurPodcast on a billboard. Now, you'll see that on our social media. You'll see that in the show description. That is at Steve and Kyle on Twitter, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. A lot of people have shared that for us. When we post it on our podcast or Facebook, or on our Twitter or Facebook, please do share that. Even if you can't contribute, that's more than okay. We understand that this is the definition of throwing money away.
Yeah.
But just think about it as throwing money away in the name of taking over podcasting.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
what was the correlation you talked about last week? If I remember right, it was start in rural Ohio, take over the world?
Yeah, because I refer to rural Ohio as the gateway to the world.
The gateway to the world. That's what, that's why they have political summits. They have...
in rural Ohio.
Large-scale meetings there. The world lives and breathes on rural Ohio.
Yeah.
So that's why we've targeted this place. It wasn't a dart throw.
No.
That would be offensive to rural Ohio. This was coordinated to take over the United States of America and the world in terms of podcasting. So yeah, we're going to post that quite a bit this week. So if you get bothered by it, we don't really care. And again, just please keep sharing it. This is a campaign to get us on a billboard of whatever amount we raise and contribute ourselves in rural Ohio that we can then drive to, have a listener meetup,
Yep.
Take pictures with our stupid faces in whatever design we decide on a billboard.
Buy everyone a drink.
Buy everyone a round of drinks.
As long as they donated. If not,
you're drinking pond scum. Now, TBD, as I've liked to say in the last 10 minutes, is location of pond to find scum. But maybe we can bring some mason jars from a local pond of our own. For all the people.
I think it needs to be local scum.
Local scum, local rural Ohio pond scum is what we need.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the main goal. End of summer, we drive down there.
Boy, it's going to be a busy end of summer for the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Maybe
between our televised boxing charity event, the trip to the billboard.
Maybe we just schedule the limbs for limbs in rural Ohio.
Oh, we could do that.
Make it a long weekend. Maybe we set up the ring right underneath our billboard.
That's a great idea.
Do it in an outdoor event.
So that way when the news crews show up, all of the shots that they get, free advertising for us.
So in Dream World, these news crews show up to take video and images of a mystery billboard that's popped up in a neighborhood in the middle of Ohio. And what they drive up to and find is a boxing ring with people suspended in air, throwing waist-high punches above it, and a viewing section with only carted dogs. And we have to sum that up in a 90-second package to appear on the local news that night.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's easy to do.
And we're obviously wearing our Reconnecting shirt.
Right, to promote our upcoming TV show.
We need to do that. We need, in the merch store, that is also on our list of things to do, we need a Reconnecting shirt. Now, hear me out. I don't know why I'm thinking this. I'm thinking maybe the Love Connection font with Ray Charles glasses in the center with the word Reconnection.
See, I'm thinking, hear me out. It's a picture of an old-timey telephone.
Sure.
In the hand of Ray from Field of Dreams.
Oh my God, that's absolutely another brilliant idea.
No, not Ray from Field of Dreams. With James Earl Jones. With the speech bubble that says, Ray.
Yep.
Time to be Reconnected.
Yep. Zach, I hope you have a pen and paper, because these are all ideas that need to go into our merch store that we have offers to help with, and I promise you, I think we both really want to do.
Absolutely.
And then another shirt that we need, and hear me out, I'm spitballing here, Steve.
Hey, you're on fire.
History of the mystery, but the O in history is obviously a magnifying glass.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right? That's it.
Of course.
I don't think it needs any other explanation.
No, none at all.
So add those to the merch store ideas in addition to the throat goblin bracket that we're going to put up there. What were some of the other... Boy, we had some other... Oh, it's tea o'clock somewhere.
That needs to happen.
That needs to happen. It needs to happen on a mug. On an actual mug, and then it needs to be on a shirt as well. It's tea o'clock somewhere. Again, brilliant merch ideas we've had that all need to happen, as well as a reissue of the World Tour 2017 t-shirt that'll all be coming soon. So again, we need everybody to wear those merch shirts when the news crew arrives at the suspended boxing ring underneath our billboard in the middle of Ohio. Yeah. So when there's questions asked, or we plug those new sidecasts that haven't happened yet. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going. Maybe we should take like a month off. Just get our
try to like flush all this stuff out.
Get our ducks in a row.
Yeah, actually start planning.
Make it happen. Mm-hmm. But again, back to the important part: the billboard, the GoFundMe campaign. Thank you to everybody who's donated. Now, you thought, and this was 2 weeks ago, Steve, and everybody thought what we did couldn't be topped when we released our episode a day early for our veterans.
It just sounds so condescending.
We talked to a veteran, though.
We talked to Chris.
He said it's fine. He said he couldn't think of anything better.
He said all of his Air Force buddies would be so excited that we were releasing it a day early.
A day early, Steve. You know what? You're welcome, troops. You're welcome.
Yeah.
We thought there's no way we could top that as like a thank you. But what we have brainstormed today, off air, Steve, might just top what we did for the troops a couple weeks ago.
I already forget.
Now, if you have donated to our little campaign to get a billboard, have we got the incentive for you. If you've already donated, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it on our own end. Mm-hmm. Because what you now have is a new follower on Twitter.
The Steve and Kyle podcast?
You don't say.
Whoa.
That's us.
We are opening the vault.
Now, this has been very limited. Our follower list has ballooned at one point to 9 till the town drunk Rusty got the old heave-ho last week.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to nip that in the bud. I don't know how he made it. We are currently at following 9 people. Oh, he didn't? Well, it's remedied now. We are currently at 8 people we are following. Now, one of those is our hopeful sponsor for APS 4.0. That's Amazon.com. They have the 2 of us, Kyle and Steve. You can find our names there as well to follow. We have the legendary actor Ted Danson, formerly of Cheers, as I plead to him a couple times a year to say hi to me. The ice cream company, Ben & Jerry's. The cheese company, Cabot Cheese. Another cheese company, Tillamook Cheese. Maybe they get the heave-ho because they didn't respond to us last week.
Yeah, it's true. I actually made some scrambled eggs this morning with
Tillamook?
Yeah, nice. Very good.
And finally, the Lucky Billy Bar. Those are 8 followers.
Yeah.
But the vault's being opened. It's like when Disney opens the vault and they release one of their classic movies for limited time only on DVD and Blu-ray.
DuckTales Quacker Stories.
This is the Lion King of vault releases, Whoa. Steve. If you donate or have donated to our stupid GoFundMe, we will follow you on Twitter.
That seems terrible, but because
it's so stupid. Listen, I just want people to donate, and honestly, our Twitter account's boring, so we're going to end up following a bunch of people anyway. But if you donate or have donated, or even, you know what, even if you share our campaign, I think that's fair too. If you retweet or share it on Facebook, screenshot that, let us know. We'll give you a follow. And then after all of that's over, we'll probably follow everybody anyway.
Yeah. Boy, I'm not going to keep track of all this. So hopefully you're going to be in charge of cross-referencing people who have donated with Twitter. I could do it now because we already have the list. That's true. The list is about 4 people long.
How dare you. It's 9. We have 9 donations totaling $255. Now, again, the amount does not matter. We don't have a set amount. We put a number there as a stupid astronomical goal, but that is not the number, the be-all, end-all number, Steve, right? Now, that it's just something that's there. Whatever is donated, every dime
goes in our pocket.
Will be every dime
is ours.
We're going to have to edit this. Every single dime
is not being returned.
Coming soon, the Billboard Steve and Kyle podcast. Asterisk maybe.
Perhaps. Yeah.
GoFundMe.com/GetOurPodcast on a billboard. Easy to remember, easy to write, barely any letters. Pass that on to your friends and family. You know, if you pass it on to your boss, your company looking for a tax write-off.
Yeah, exactly. We encourage employer matching. Mm-hmm. We do nothing to make that happen.
No. Encourage. We encourage.
No tax write-offs.
We could probably get labeled as a charity, right? Somehow. I had a bum leg last year.
Like a 503c or something?
I had a bad foot last year.
Okay.
Thanks for the help, charity.
I actually got hit in the eye during our softball game.
You did. So
that could happen. We're a charity now.
I think we're a worthy cause.
Is that all it takes? That each of us had an injury at some point in our life?
Again, thank you to everybody who has donated or is considering donating or has just shared our campaign. That's very kind of you. Any dollar helps in this charitable cause.
Your dollar could be the dollar to help cure our lack of a billboard.
Now, do we want to set an end date on this? We started this campaign May 27. Now, we initially had set a month, but I don't believe there's a deadline on this thing.
Let's just let it roll.
You want to let it roll? Yeah. You don't want to set an end date? Maybe the 4th of July?
I like that. It's a good... Yeah, we go from Memorial Day to the 4th of July.
Actually, you know what we should do? Let's do the 5th of July, because I believe the 4th of July... No, 4th of July is a Wednesday. So 4th of July is perfect. You'll have our new episode released to you Tuesday, July 3rd, just like we have every week since September of 2016.
Boom.
Wednesday or Tuesday, July 3rd, you will have a new episode where we will make our final pleas for any donations. That will close July 4th. And then we'll begin the haggling process, Steve, where we will figure out who to contact regarding a billboard in rural Ohio.
Yeah.
We'll call them, record those calls, so we can play back our idiocy and our haggling for everybody's enjoyment.
Yeah, I like it. So 4th of July or 5th of July, final deadline. That gives you roughly 3.5 weeks to maybe do a little fundraiser at your job.
Yeah.
Set up a lemonade stand. Steal money from your kid's piggy bank.
Bake sales.
Very encouraged.
Run your own scam to get money to donate to our charity.
So at this point, we're at a weird spot in the podcast. What do you want to do?
Yeah, we should get to at least a couple of these things. It's been a couple of weeks since we gave a quick softball update. We can do that relatively quickly. Steve suffered an injury this week.
I did.
We'll go back to last week where we played a man down. You were gone. You were sick. Or no, was that?
That was a couple weeks ago.
That's right.
I was there last week because it was a game where I was didn't play my normal position.
You didn't. So last week we were down multiple people. And then day of came like is normal to happen. And a couple more people were out.
Yeah.
We played most of the first inning with 8 players when you're supposed to have 10.
Yeah.
And played the full game with 9 players, which means we were down a position. So what did we do, Steve?
Shifted me from second base because in fairness, of the infielders, second baseman gets... Because typically most of the hitters on the teams are right-handed. Most of the balls are going to shortstop, third base.
Right.
Obviously being thrown to first base. So it's not uncommon for me to go an entire game without getting any ball hit in my direction.
Right.
So I shifted from second base to right field, and then our shortstop kind of covered the whole middle of the infield.
Sure.
I'll have it be known that I did catch a couple of fly balls out to right field.
Yes, you did.
I needed the help of Jake.
Yeah.
Our right center fielder. Anytime a ball was hitting my direction, he would be like my gauge. He'd say, "No, move up. No, move back. Perfect. Wait right there."
Yeah. Stand there, put your glove in the air.
My depth perception, I don't know. I haven't caught fly balls on a regular basis in probably 25 years.
Right.
So, did we win that game?
Nope.
No, we lost that game.
So we lost that game playing a 1-2 men down, 15-11. When it appeared to be in the 6th inning, they found that hole at second base and just chopped 10 ground balls through that gap.
Yeah.
And just trotted to first base every time.
Yeah.
That team was a bit softball-y.
Yeah.
Now me as the resident catcher, I hear all the happenings going on with the umpire, and the only thing notable that happened that week was a batter who decided he wanted to attack that hole in the infield as a lefty and decided to what is referred to as slap hit. So he tried to take a couple of steps into the pitch instead of swinging the bat.
Yeah.
And the rule in baseball is that you cannot have a foot out of the batter's box while you're swinging.
No.
Or while you make contact. That's an immediate out. And in this case, he was more than a foot out. He was almost 2 complete feet out of the batter's box.
It looked like he was running, just holding his bat out.
And now I'm a catcher, so this is... I don't do much. I don't even keep track... I don't keep track of the score properly, which is on me. I get that. But I noticed this, and I immediately tell the umpire, he was out of the box. The umpire saw it before even I did, called him out. This kid decided he wasn't going to stand for that and had a discussion with the umpire, and the last parting words he said were, "Well, I've never once heard that called before."
Well, that and the particular play you're talking about, he didn't hit it to second base. It went to our left fielder who caught the ball.
Yes.
So anyway, it didn't matter anyway because he caught the ball. So the play was an out to begin with. Like, regardless of whether he was in the box, out of the box, it didn't matter.
It was an out anyway.
It was an out.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And they were still bickering about it like 2 innings later.
Yeah, the pitcher came out, and I remember, so I watched from the dugout, I watched the interactions as he came out, talked to the second base umpire and asked about it. The pitcher asked the home plate umpire about it again. That was the precursor to, I want to say an inning later, when their pitcher, who was an older gentleman, probably in his 50s, threw a pitch, and one of our batters hit a pop fly foul ball, but it was caught for an out. And he questioned, hey, why didn't you call that an infield fly, which an infield fly rule means the batter's automatically out. And then at that point, the runners can advance if they need to, if they can.
Yeah.
And the umpire said, I can't. It was a foul ball. And the only response was this older gentleman shaking his head like a disapproving father and walking back to the pitcher's mound.
Now, maybe, just maybe, that was him saying, oh, God, that was so stupid of me. What am I thinking?
Boy, I doubt it.
Didn't seem like it.
It did not seem like it. Another interaction. And again, these aren't, compared to what we dealt with last year, Steve, in the first, where, again, we were threatened with physical violence. This is nothing. And it's so nonsensical and doesn't bother us or bother me. I just think it's funny that, again, in the lowest tier men's softball, there's still people acting like this. I think it's comical. And I want to say the last interaction was Cy Nolan Ryan Young, our pitcher Chris. For whatever reason, one guy on that team, he just couldn't get out. And not get out, he couldn't give him pitches that this guy would hit. Mm-hmm. And it was frustrating to Chris. He didn't say anything to the guy. He just thought, hey, I thought he was going to swing at some of those, which is a very valid argument in slow pitch softball.
Yeah, I mean, even a bad pitch is still probably hittable.
Right, and a lot of these are close enough. That they're not dropping right where this guy would like them to be strikes, but they're pitches that he should be swinging at. This older guy took probably 2 or 3 walks that game. And from what I heard, our first baseman, Tyler, came back to the dugout and said, yeah, boy, that guy's complaining up a storm. Didn't say the word complaining about your pitching. Guy won't throw me any effing strikes.
Well, he's not intentionally walking you.
Can you imagine feeling that way about taking a walk in slow pitch softball? Now, you know me. That's my favorite play in the game. Taking a walk.
Big fan of the walk.
Big fan for a couple of reasons. One, it gets me to first a lot easier than having to hit it and hope it gets through. Second, it so makes the team angry when you do it. Because all they want you to do is swing at any pitch they throw. And a lot of people do. That's totally fine. I'm not good enough to do that and make it work.
No.
You're talking to a guy, a hairless, 31-year-old loser.
Virgin.
Yep. All those words and adjectives that struck out looking.
Pathetic. No friends.
It feels like it's going on a little longer than it should have.
I mean, just not much to look at.
Yeah. I mean, again, it feels like extra than what it needed to be.
No. This was all covered before.
Oh, okay. So this is all rehashing
These are all insults that have already been said. Come on, I don't want to be rude.
Yeah. So we lost that game 15-11. Came into this week. Everybody was there, or everybody but our shortstop, Kevin, who separated, or believes he separated his shoulder the week before in that loss.
I've heard through the grapevine he's feeling better.
Yep, he's hoping to be there this week, so that's awesome.
Especially since we don't have a game.
Yeah. Oh, we should let him go. We should let him know he's going to be there. We'll be there right at 6:15. Mm-hmm. So we took the field. Now, this is a team we had not played before, but they came out of the gates looking like they'd played very well beforehand.
Yeah, they did. Scored a couple runs right off the bat.
6
runs right off the bat.
Yep, to our 2, which isn't a great start, but no big deal. There's a lot of innings we start really slow, and we just don't hit that well sometimes. It happens. Until the second inning came up, and they scored 7 more, and it was 13-5.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was ugly there for a little bit, and it was a great game towards the end.
Clawed our way back
To the point where it was 18-16 in the top of the 7th inning.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's up to bat, Steve?
Who?
The fearless leader, the semi-retired former manager.
That's right.
Your starting catcher.
KP.
Kyle. Batting. 10th in the lineup.
No big deal, though. You got this.
No big deal. They just put me down there because the turnaround, they need a solid hitter for the turnaround.
Mr. Dependable. Mr. October.
What do? I lace a single. Just like I always do. Find my home. 18-16. We're down. I'm on first base. Next thing you know, I'm rounding second after a shot by our center fielder, Ryan. Headed towards third. And in a weird mishap that can only be described as Steve-esque on third base. I round third when I wasn't supposed to round third, try to go back to third, then they tell me to go from third, but apparently they didn't tell me to go from third, but I thought I still had to go from third.
There was a bit of miscommunication at third base all game long.
So I went from third anyway, Steve, and I scored, so we're only down 18-17.
Woo, what could go wrong?
And then we lost 18-17.
Yeah. Yeah, because I grounded out to second base.
You also had, now we talked about this last year, you had another Steve at third base situation.
I did. I got stuck in another rundown.
This has happened. This
one, I think everyone knows.
It was not on you.
100% of people in attendance know that was not my fault.
Yeah. No.
I was on second base. There was a ball hit to center field, lightly to center field. I mean, it wasn't a long fly ball or anything. It wasn't. I mean, the center fielder had to move in to catch it.
Sure.
And or move in to play the ball because it dropped. So I went from second to third at I didn't sprint because it wasn't something where I could have scored on it. And I get to third. As I'm coming into third, I look at our third base coach, and he's kind of looking at me, and so I just round the bag by about 2 steps, and I said, "Am I?" Because he had a confused look on his face, like, "Why are you stopping?" And I said, "Am I going?" And he's like, "Yeah." Oh. So I didn't take the time to turn around and look, so I figured, okay, maybe something wacky happened. Maybe the ball, rolled through his legs.
Yeah.
So I start running home. I get 4 steps of the way there, and the catcher's standing there with the ball looking at me.
Staring at you with the ball. So this is easily... Again, now this happened, I want to say 2 or 3 times last year.
Oh, it happened twice in one game last year.
And a couple of those you would admit were probably on your end.
Oh, yeah.
This one, as we agreed, probably not on your end. But, so in your mind, you decide, all right, well, I guess the rundown's happening anyway.
Yeah, because I'm not going down without a fight.
Right.
I'm not just going to keep running and let you tag me. So... catcher starts running towards me.
Mm-hmm.
I reverse my pace, start running back towards third. He's got the ball in his hand. He fakes the throw to third, which I fell for.
Sure.
So I kind of stop and start running towards home. And then as he goes to tag me out, he kind of swings the glove up to tag me. Well, just as I was ducking my head... Jesus... I nearly just fell off my chair.
It's almost as disastrous as this rundown.
Yeah. So as he's going to tag me, I kind of duck my head down, and he ends up tagging me right in the face, right in my left eye socket.
Yeah. I'm sitting here, and I believe... Well, I was in the dugout, and I had turned away, and then I see the rundown, but I didn't see the conclusion just because I assumed you were going to be out.
Yeah, well, good assumption.
And I turn around to see you walking away from home plate... with a head on your hand, with a hand on your head.
Yeah.
And how, what? Did you run into the fence? Did you overrun home base so fast that you hit the fence with your head? And you tell me this, and I see you holding your head, and I see the catcher. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. Are you okay? I didn't mean to.
Yeah, and it was fine. I mean, I wasn't I wasn't mad or anything. I did say something like, could have done without you tagging me in the face. Right. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, man. I was like, it's cool, no problem. And, but yeah, so I didn't really think about it much. What is going on? I didn't think about it much the rest of the game. And then at the end of the game, it was still kind of tender. And I said to you, I was like, do I have a black eye or something? Like, no, you got a pretty good cut, though.
Yeah, you had like a red cut, which I'm assuming it looks like it went away. I don't see anything now.
It's still there a little bit.
Oh, yeah, just faded down. So, yeah, leave it to Steve to get tagged in the face. So while we were all cocky 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, last time we talked about softball, we were 3-0. We'd mercied all three teams. How did we respond to that success that nobody expected?
2 losses in a row.
Rattle off 2 losses in a row, Steve. That puts us at 3-2. So if you're keeping tabs on our bet, Steve said we were going to go 7-5. I said we're going to go 6-4. In the bet where we guessed different number of games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of us will inevitably be closer.
Sure.
So
I think, boy, I forgot to save them on the document that I keep notes on. If somebody remembers what we bet our records would be, I think it was something like 7-5 or 6-4, 6-6, whatever. Yeah. If you could let us know. We stand at 3-2, both firmly in it. I would argue 3 weeks ago I was willing to concede and call you the winner.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
The last 2 weeks have proven we are mere mortals on the slow pitch softball field. So Team Remax gets a week off to lick their wounds.
Yeah.
Be back out there in 2 weeks, or sorry, a little more than a week from when you're listening right now, to take on or to battle Game 6.
Yeah.
In a crazy delayed season where we've already had 3 rainouts.
As always, listeners always encouraged to show up with banners.
Yes.
Maybe chants. We love that. We love the encouragement.
We'd absolutely love to have the fanfare out there. Now, just message us for the location. Come on out. Watch us. We'll tell you the game time. You can't miss us. Team Remax.
Yeah.
The brightest yellow jerseys you've ever seen.
Highlighter yellow.
With random numbers from 1 to 20.
Yeah. Hashtag 222.
Hashtag 222. Now, that is Steve.
Second baseman.
Mm-hmm.
Second in the batting order.
Arguably shouldn't be.
Yeah, I think I'll probably be demoted after last week.
That wasn't great.
And what was the other 2? Oh, number 2.
Yeah,
course.
Number 2, batting second. Number 2, batting second at second base.
Yeah.
So now, also a brief update. I don't know if you've been keeping your own stats, Steve. Have you?
I have not. I gave up after the second game.
Well, that's a shame because you're looking at somebody who's battling to bat 700 on the season right now.
Really?
I am 11 of 16.
Oof.
And in case our manager, our fearless leader, Cy Nolan Ryan Young, who puts together the fair lineup every week, in case he's listening, I have not batted higher than 9th. And I say that from the perspective of somebody who played on a team that only had 9 participants 2 weeks ago.
So you somehow batted like 10th out of 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just in case anybody's listening, I'm batting 685. It's right. 11 out of 16.
Well, if you're batting 685, I got to assume I'm batting like 870.
You got to assume, don't you? Do you?
Yeah.
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 Huh. I mean, some of us would say it's closer to 500. You know?
I'll still get you in the Hall of Fame.
The mythical slow pitch softball Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, yeah.
So Team Remax 3-2. We'll keep you updated on that in the coming weeks.
All right.
Fast 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think I'm up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works. Again, there's no rhyme or reason. It seems to just...
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been bastardized over the months.
I feel like I got to switch one out real quick.
Boy.
Yeah, I'm going to do
So you actually have your 5.
I did. I have 6, but there was
for
one.
God's sake.
There was
Steve.
one that I wanted to. I wanted to work in there, but I didn't want to take any of the other ones out. So
you've got the sexy 6.
I got the fast 5. I
eliminated
one. Eliminated one. Okay.
Now this is in stark contrast to 2 weeks ago when you had how many again?
I believe it was 0.
0.
Yeah, the zesty 0.
Zesty 0.
Okay.
The naughty nil.
First on the list, the NBA Finals. Hoops.
Boy, foregone conclusion seemed to be what everybody thought. Sure enough.
Next, Brian Colangelo.
Yeah, I don't think no way out. No way out. I think the Sixers did what they had to do there.
He'll never work again, right?
I think there's a chance he works in Detroit this year.
Oh boy. Next, Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, it's tragic. I mean, what more can be said? I mean, there's obviously an epidemic and a stigma around this that hasn't been talked about, so it's awful.
Dennis Rodman.
The peace ambassador we don't deserve, but the one we need, Steve.
Yeah. Next, the G7 summit.
Seems like it went well, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, our allies.
Proud.
Canada to the north. It seems as though they're turning against us, which you didn't think was possible. Canada, they're a very nice, polite people.
Well, listen, if there's one thing that I know, it's that Canada can suck it. And that goes back, and I don't forget, and Donald Trump doesn't forget, when they burned down the White House in the War of 1812, Steve.
Yeah, of course. That was a terrible time.
So the only thing I can think of to get them back is to go burn their moose.
Oh, we got to burn their White House.
Yeah.
We got to build a White House there.
Yeah, we got to build the house that's white, and we're going to burn it down.
Burn it down.
And then we're going to burn their mooses.
Mice.
We're going to burn their mice.
All their mice.
All the
dead.
Canadian mice. That's the only proper way to get them back. I'm glad this is simmering, because for the last 200 years, the only thing I could think about is how those a-holes burned down the White House.
I can't believe they did that. That is one of the most embarrassing things.
That they burned down the White House?
Well, yeah, sure.
I know. That's a cheap shot.
Yeah, when I am not at all a history buff.
Yeah.
But when I saw that trending earlier in the week, I thought, War of 1812. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that
important.
I don't.
Not talked about enough.
It's not really how it went down. I
Super
don't
vital.
think.
Strained relations.
Pretty sure the Canadians didn't. Hey, whatever. Hey, that's our president.
We're gonna get him. But yeah, it sounds by all accounts, it sounds like that G7 summit, the lasting image that will probably be remembered forever. Now, you have from the Obama administration, you have that photo of them all in the Situation Room when the mission to kill bin Laden was happening. That's an iconic photo. From the Bush presidency, you have the photo of him on the remains of Ground Zero with the megaphone that will remain forever. Clinton was probably a little bit before my time. Honestly, the lasting image is probably him on television saying, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." The lasting image from the Trump presidency has a good chance of being Donald Trump sitting in a chair with his arms crossed while, how do you pronounce her name? Is it Angela or Angela?
It's like Angela or Angela.
Angela Merkel, like leaning over the table across from him while all the other world leaders surround, staring at him similarly, looking like she's talking to him like an infant.
Yeah.
That has a chance to shape up to be his lasting image from his presidency, from the G7 summit, which he left early, Steve. He left early with, the way it sounds, trading barbs with Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, and other allies. By all accounts, it seems like the other six were probably okay with them leaving.
Yeah, probably. Probably all right. Well, he's in Singapore now.
He's there. He's probably preparing, reading books about what North Korea is.
Now, so they're at some hotel in... but they're not... Trump is not meeting with Kim Jong-un until the 12th. He's not meeting with him until Tuesday.
Well, so if you're listening to this, it's probably already happened.
What do you think, what if he, leaves his room to go grab a Coke from the vending machine? What did they bump into each other in the hallway?
It's very weird that they're both there, because Un is there as well.
Yeah. He got there yesterday or today.
Yeah. I mean, are they just, preparing notes? Is there a group of advisors with them both?
I don't know. Does Trump shake his hand when they meet?
You have to, because that's the photo op that the world is assuming is going to happen.
But then he inevitably says, he refers to Kim Jong-un as my good friend or my new friend. That's going to happen, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's going to switch from Rocket Man to my new friend. Now, a report coming out of the G7 summit is that Trump was taking shots at Trudeau to impress Kim Jong-un. So let me. I'm assuming there is odds on this North Korea summit. There's got to be some Vegas bets, like will Trump do this? Will whatever? Yep, gambling911.com 2 hours ago has the U.S. North Korea summit betting odds. Let's see some of these because these are always fascinating looks into gambling. In the U.S., the gambling community in particular will have all eyes on Trump's tweets. POTUS is expected to tweet over 90 times between now and June 15th. Odds on the meeting actually taking place in Singapore were at about 97%. Betting's about to close in the coming hours on that.
I heard that one, right?
Yes, I did. That was what I believe you refer to as a Squirtle.
Squirtle.
That's like the Pokemon language for that. That was another beautiful instance of Steve's body. So I'm trying to pull up more of these betting odds. Let's see. Oh, boy, I can't see any of the actual odds right now. But, yeah, that's something that you can actually bet. And I'm sure there's prop bets, just like with the Super Bowl. How long will the national anthem go? But in this case, it's will they shake hands and will Trump pull the Trump handshake move where he pulls him into you and makes you shake your whole body?
Boy, this is weird. Like, this is a weird time in our country's history.
Very weird.
All right, so that was talk about the G7 summit, the Singapore summit. Before that, Dennis Rodman.
He's the peace ambassador we need, but we don't deserve.
He's
Steve.
on his way. He's probably in North Korea by this point. His home away from home.
What are the odds that there's the image at any point of Donald Trump, Dennis Rodman, and Kim Jong-un in a three-way handshake?
I think it's very likely.
Like it's a triangle of hands.
Yeah, I think it's likely. I mean, there's definitely going to be the picture of the three of them.
There has to be, right?
It will. Yeah, it's going to happen. Who knows how the handshake mechanics are going to work out. But
that'll all have to be sorted out in advance.
Yeah. All right, before that, Anthony Bourdain, the CNN star, I guess you could call him, the celebrity chef.
Parts unknown,
yeah, TV host, committed suicide Thursday night in France, I think it was.
Yeah, obviously very tragic during the filming of an episode with one of his friends or chefs that he was there with, who found his body in France. Yeah, obviously had a lot of demons and a lot of things going on that the world was not privy to. His girlfriend, Asia Argento, actress, obviously found out about it the same way the world did.
Mm-hmm.
Awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I forget what the topic was where he said, what more can you say on it? It's becoming that way a little bit with the stigma around mental health and depression and not talking about it. Obviously, earlier in the week, fashion designer Kate Spade ended her own life as well. Both of them leaving behind young children. I believe Anthony Bourdain had an 11-year-old. Kate Spade had a 13-year-old. Awful. I mean, there's nothing we can say that's going to make anything different. Obviously, if you're struggling with any of that and you need to talk, there's plenty of avenues.
Yeah.
And if for whatever unknown reason those don't work for you, our messages are always open as well.
Yeah, definitely. Before that, we had Brian Colangelo, the director of basketball operations for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, former. Yeah,
at this point, former. He was
lost his job.
Yeah, now did he? It seems like he resigned. I don't think he was fired. He was
going to be fired.
It was one of those they have agreed to part ways type statements.
Boy, what a foreign concept that is. It's he had to go.
Yeah,
I think
it was discovered that he was, or his wife, was operating like 5 different Twitter burner accounts that basically took shots at players and management of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yep.
Which is strange because that's who he works for.
Well, it was interacting with people who were having issues with, like, people would give credit to the former GM, Sam Hinkie, and so she would retort back with statements about how Sam Hinkie didn't do anything, that's why he's fired, and Brian Colangelo is the real savior. Essentially, it was easy to narrow down that it was related to Brian Colangelo because all of the statements were supportive of Colangelo and negative about his predecessors and the people who took over after he had left, like Toronto. So, yeah, they found out these Twitter accounts were associated with somebody, either him or his family, but information that Brian Colangelo had compromised the team and medical history, which it did, with revealing stuff that shouldn't have been revealed.
So was it ever made clear who the person was?
I don't think they
figured all this out.
I don't think they did release it. They hired a law firm to do the internal investigation. I'm sure they came to results that if he had not resigned, were going to result in his firing. But yeah, like somebody said, can you imagine the dinner table that night at the Colangelo house?
So,
how's work?
Oh, a little rough, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's a 2-time executive of the year. Odds are he never gets work again. But I'd say there's also a good chance that some idiots like Detroit say, bring him in. But you're losing players because now you worry about, hey, that egg on Twitter who called me a nobody or whatever.
Was that our
GM?
Yeah. And first on the list was the NBA Finals.
Boy, kind of what everybody expected. A big a spanking by the Golden State Warriors on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
4-1?
4-0.
Oh, 4 games to
none.
Yeah,
Cleveland won 0 games after the snafu by J.R. Smith in Game 1 where he didn't know the score, which they probably should have won that game. But it looks like that. I don't think that would have mattered.
Yeah. So now the summer of LeBron
again
commences.
Third time.
Yeah.
Third time. You had the summer of LeBron. I want to say it was after
2011 or something.
Yeah, it was right around there where he had the televised The Decision, which 0 people were okay with, it seems like.
I feel like he's learned from that.
Yeah, because the last time he did it properly, he had, I believe it was Lee Jenkins from Sports Illustrated, released an article essentially ghostwritten by LeBron about why he was going back to Cleveland. Made it seem like, he didn't really get a college youth. Him going to Miami was that, being able to go with his friends, hang out, play on South Beach, which is totally fine. And
win a couple championships.
Now it's time to go home, and he did. He brought a championship to Cleveland. I think he leaves.
Really?
I absolutely do. He took 4-0s to the NBA Finals this year. He is the greatest player on the planet. I don't know.
Is he going to Philadelphia?
Maybe. Honestly,
that would be insane.
The talk is, and now I don't understand the intricacies of basketball. I enjoy watching it sometimes. I don't like the game like I used to. It's too different. And I'll talk about that on Sports Tate.
800 Sports Tate. Get your calls in now.
Yep. I'll talk about why I don't like modern NBA coming up. But he is, by all accounts, the greatest player who's played in this generation. People smarter than me think if he goes to Philadelphia, he will have to change his style of play, and I don't know if he's willing or ready to do that. He's 34 years old. Yeah. I mean, and he hasn't missed a day in his life, really, in terms of meaningful minutes. He's been healthy the entire duration. He's the greatest player on the planet. He should be able to dictate where he wants to go and when he wants to go, and I don't think that's going to be in Cleveland.
All right.
Fast five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Justify.
Boy, I just realized that we forgot to get to something that I have had pulled up on my screen the whole time that I really want to hear. And that is the new intro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For our viewer mail segment.
You want to just play you just want to play it? Just to get it out of the way?
I do.
Rip the Band-Aid off?
I had an email that I can...
Okay. So now this, to quickly recap, this is a song that Steve pulled up weeks ago for randomly we got a piece of mail.
Cannot wait to hear this.
It's so bad. And we decided we needed to use this song for any time we received any type of mail. Now that's email, snail mail, packages, whatever it may be. We decided to use this. So we have our first instance. Now I told Steve I put this together last night in the 11 p.m. hour, Eastern Standard Time, of course, in less than 2 minutes. 7 beers deep.
7 beers deep.
I had I went to a baseball game with my family, with my parents and my wife, after we had gone to a brewery. So I'd had a few drinks on a Saturday night, and I decided, hey, podcast is tomorrow. I usually do this early, but here we are. I had to do it. So this is what I cobbled together in less than 2 minutes, where I think I looked at it and I shrugged my shoulders, said, yeah, that's all right. And I clicked save. So, Steve,
14 seconds.
It sounds like we have some mail.
I think we do.
Hey,
folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig.
That's it. Well, I got to hear that about 1,000 more times.
I nailed it. That's exactly what I was going for.
Hey, folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig.
Yes.
Okay. Right off the top of my head, I could probably go back and cut that together a million times better, and I could get that part in the middle out.
Nope.
Where they say there's one from Sally H. That's the only part that I would like to cut out, but I don't know if it'll match up.
No, I don't think we need to at all.
Oh man.
We got an email from let's see, Aram Gupta, Steve and Kyle. Where? Because he sent it to my show email address. Okay. So it was Steve and Kyle in parentheses. Where can I go to download all the episodes? On my laptop, as you noticed, Apple is deleting some of the early gems, and it is the lost episode. And if the lost episode gets deleted, that would be bad. I re-listened to it when there aren't any new episodes of my podcasts.
That's sad.
Signed Aram Gupta. I think we actually have fixed that.
Yeah.
That was an issue with our RSS feed. It was limiting it to 100.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, so we went in there, we adjusted it. By the time you're reading by the time you're hearing this, it should be all straightened out. So if you go into iTunes or any of the other podcast sources that you download the podcast, we should be every episode showing up.
Yeah, no more deleted. If you pass the show along, you can pass it along from episode 1.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump back into the Fast Five now.
Fast Five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Justify.
Oh, that's the horse, right? Did he do it?
It's the horse, man.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it, did he?
That's the horse.
Did he do it?
He did it.
He won the Triple Crown?
He won the Triple Crown, second one in 4 years.
Boy, oh boy. Who was the one 4 years ago?
American Pharaoh.
That's right. And then before that, Secretariat.
Seattle Slew, I want to say.
Seattle Slew.
1978.
Before that, Secretariat.
Yeah. Maybe. Wasn't it Seabiscuit? Was that in there?
And before that, Secretariat.
And Secretariat. You're right, Steve. Nailed it. G7 Summit.
Doesn't seem like it went very well. No, not very well.
No, not at all. Ugh. Golden State Warriors.
How about them? Hoops, basketball, Steph Curry.
Big three
Slamma-jamma.
Big Slamma-jamma.
Slamma-jamma. Can he dunk?
I think so. Can he? Yeah.
He's kind of short, right?
Yeah, but he's crazy athletic, but he's really wiry.
I bet he can dunk.
There's got to be videos of Steph Curry dunking.
Yeah. I can't imagine there are many NBA players who can't dunk.
Muggsy Bogues dunked, and he was like 5'7" or whatever.
Yeah.
World Cup. The World Cup.
Pardon me?
The World Cup? FIFA World Cup?
Oh, FIFA, of course. Yeah,
Come on,
soccer.
Man.
Kickball.
Yeah, the big foot. Big football.
Is that what they call it? The big foot?
The big foot.
Is that F-U-T?
Yeah, this is the biggest of foot. That's obviously the World Cup in Russia. Starting this week, Steve.
It's in Russia, huh?
Yeah, you got... when are we watching all the big pairings?
Oh, I got my money on Bosnia.
Very good team. Very good. And lastly, this is a late edition for me, CM Punk.
Oh, boy. I haven't heard anything about him. The last I knew about CM Punk, CM Punk, a WWE wrestler.
Former.
Yeah, right. Left WWE to become an MMA fighter.
Yes.
And by all accounts, he was terrible.
Shouldn't have been an MMA fighter.
Did he have any fights?
He had one fight, I want to say it was a year and a half ago, was submitted in 2 minutes or 20 seconds, some crazy stupid number he was submitted so fast.
Okay.
And so a huge week for CM Punk this week, though, Steve. He had a lawsuit. He was being sued by the doctor from the WWE. When CM Punk quit, he went on a podcast and had said how the doctor didn't treat a staph infection there and had him work through concussions, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So the guy sued him and the podcast host, Colt Cabana.
Really?
So they had
WWE didn't sue?
WWE didn't sue, but this was fully funded and pushed forward by WWE.
Okay.
So now CM Punk was delivered these papers that he was being sued on his wedding day. The lawsuit was conveniently scheduled the week before his UFC fight.
Okay.
And CM Punk and Colt Cabana won. Well, they were declared, I don't know, not how does a lawsuit work? Not guilty or whatever. Yeah. No judgment in their favor in 2 hours deliberation time. The doctor was asking for $1 for each podcast play, which is like $3,980,000. So just short of what we do on a weekly basis.
Yeah, very, very short.
And
very just short.
But he didn't prove any harm to his business. He's still employed, all of this stuff. So, yeah, he was Dr. Christopher Amann.
So what did they countersue for anything?
No. Done. He said he wants to move on with that part of his life. All over. So, yeah, free and clear.
All right.
So I'm sure it's a good feeling that had been hanging over his head for 4 years.
Yeah, definitely.
Went into his UFC fight last night, which a lot of people would argue, and rightfully so, he shouldn't be in the UFC. He had zero MMA training, and then Dana White signed him to a professional contract and put him on pay-per-views. He opened the pay-per-view last night, soundly defeated.
Really?
Embarrassed.
Okay.
So 2 fights, a little over 3 years, zero effort. Well, zero positive effort determined. Dana White came out today, said, yeah, it seems like his UFC career is probably over.
That sucks.
Which he's a 39-year-old man who picked up MMA 3 years ago. It probably wasn't going to work out in his favor anyway.
No.
This was a guy people most agree shouldn't have been in the UFC anyway. His name was Mike Jackson. And Dana White not happy with Mike Jackson because Mike Jackson, by all accounts, could have finished CM Punk, chose to embarrass him,
stretch it out
over 3 rounds, and went to the decision, which was a unanimous decision in favor of Mike Jackson. Dana White not happy about that.
Boy, he's not really happy about anything.
No, he's a grumpy guy, man.
Yeah.
Dana White doesn't seem like a fun person to be around. The World Cup, FIFA World Cup, Steve. World Cup 2018.
Yeah, Bosnia. Bosnia's got this one.
Team Bosnia
pretty sure.
is Steve's pick. We'll take your choices this week on our social media. Use the hashtag #TheBigFoot to make your World Cup picks.
Remember, that's FUT with the accent over the U.
Yeah, and if you can't make that happen, just don't make your pick.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it.
So who's your pick in the big foot?
New Zealand.
Really, the little island.
They can't be in a
country off the the southern coast of Australia,
northern coast.
See, I think you're...
Isn't New Zealand in between...
I feel like you're thinking of Sandals, Jamaica, which is on the northern coast.
That's what I'm
Jamaica,
thinking of.
yeah.
Now, Sandals, Jamaica, obviously just your run-of-the-mill motel in a...
no, I believe you're mistaken. Believe you're mistaken.
What's going on?
It's an all-inclusive resort.
Oh, okay. I mean... Me, I stay out your Super 8s, your Motel 6s, so I don't even know what those words mean.
Yeah. Well, Sandals is Jamaican for all-inclusive resort.
Huh.
So basically you pay one flat rate and you get everything you want and a lot of what you don't.
Okay. Sure.
They serenade you. They actually did serenade us. It was very
so
awkward.
Weird.
It was so awkward.
That is so uncomfortable. Okay, so you've got Bosnia coming out of that's Group H. Oh,
in the big foot.
It turns out I don't think they made it.
I don't think they're a country anymore.
Well, they were in the qualifiers. They almost made it.
Really?
Wow, yeah. So out of Group H qualifying, Belgium made it. They went 9-0 with 1 draw. Greece made it. They went 5-1 with 4 draws. And only the top 2 make it. But in third place, 2 points behind, was Bosnia and Herzegovina.
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 Bosnia and Herzegovina.
What'd you say, Herzegovina?
Yeah, that's it.
Nailed it. I knew I nailed it. They went 5-3-2 for 17 points, just missing the FIFA World Cup, just as the United States did for the first time in decades, which means I don't care about the World Cup this year.
Not at all.
But that starts this week in Russia, which I'm sure means everything will be on the up and up.
Yeah, definitely.
The Golden State Warriors.
Hooping.
Big hoops. Big hoops, right?
The big hoop.
The big.
Not to be confused with the big foot.
So this week, hashtag the big foot, hashtag the big hoop, and that is, again, H-U-P.
Yeah, with accent.
With an accent over the U.
Over the U. Give us your thoughts on the big hoop and the big foot.
The Golden State Warriors sweep the Cleveland Cavaliers for their third NBA championship in 4 years. Sounds like everybody's coming back next year. Kevin Durant, probably the second best player in the world, said he's going to come back, planning on it.
At what point does a really good team make a dynasty? Is that a dynasty?
I think 3 out of 4 is good. 3 out of 4 is great.
Yeah.
You look at the most recent dynasty was probably the San Antonio Spurs, who won, I think, 4 titles in 8 years. Before that, obviously the 1990s Bulls with Michael Jordan. But yeah, I think you got to win. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe 4 is the number.
Okay.
You win 4, you're a dynasty, but 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 is pretty good. I mean, 4 out of 5 better, obviously.
And honestly, it should be 4 out of 4. The one that they did not win was the 3. They were up 3-1 on the Cavaliers, and the Cavaliers came back and won 3 in a row. They could very easily have 4 titles in a row, which a lot of people think ruining the NBA.
All right, so we are going to be here on this podcast. We will be dedicated this whole summer to finding out where LeBron's going. We're going to have our inside sources calling in, probably on a weekly basis.
Give you weekly updates. Boy, we should do that.
Yeah,
we'll get all the info on where LeBron's going and who he's bringing with him. Before that, the G7 summit.
I feel as though it didn't go well, just based on some of the articles I'm reading.
For the United States, at least.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, seems like the nicest person ever.
Right.
Mainly because he's Canadian. Secondly, because he just seems like a very nice guy.
Yeah. Handsome.
Very handsome, yeah.
Handsome, man.
Throwing barbs.
Weird.
With our president.
In 1 week, he's decided that Russia should be welcomed back into the G7, which would that make it the G8?
Yeah. He meaning Trump.
Trump, sorry. Yeah. He has decided that, as well as starting a fight with our Canadian border brothers for an unknown reason.
Well, man. I mean, why not? He's already alienated Mexico.
Yeah.
So
if you look at everybody at the G7, Angela Merkel was one where, when he was in his infancy of being president, he had that video moment where she tried to shake his hand and he waved her off in one of the weirdest moments of all time.
Yeah.
So obviously Angela Merkel, who's one of the most respected world leaders, does not care for him.
No.
Justin Trudeau, Canada, doesn't care for him. But he's appealing to Vladimir Putin of Russia and now Kim Jong-un of North Korea. That doesn't tell you everything you need to know.
Okay. It's weird.
So yeah, I agree. Seems like it didn't go well. And first and foremost this week happened yesterday, Steve. Justify the horse.
The horse that just couldn't stop running.
Yeah.
Running fast.
Running.
That's what they call him.
The Forrest Gump of horses.
The Horst Gump.
Horses. Horset Gump.
Horst Gump.
Horst Gump. Justify wins the Belmont Stakes yesterday,
at
Steve.
At no point did they have to bring out a white sheet, hold it up.
I close my eyes and fantasize and think about how happy I would be if one of those prize race horses had to be put down behind a white sheet and a hillbilly with a shotgun on
For somebody who's into horse racing.
Love the racing.
You seem to really be rooting against the horses.
Yeah, in off air, before we obviously planned to the nth degree the Limbs for Limbs charity that we were going to do, I was pushing to endorse a horse euthanization charity.
Boy, I don't
try to eliminate the world.
I think it might be tough to find one of them.
Of these unnatural beasts. So Justify wins yesterday, the second Triple Crown winner in
Since
4 years.
Secretariat.
The 13th ever.
Secretariat, the horse.
Second since 1978. Now, Steve, I know you were watching.
78.
I know you were watching the horse race yesterday. Justify comes out in the one post. Nobody knows how he's going to do. Now, a 1.5-mile race, the longest of the Triple Crown races, Steve. Last time has Barbazo or Barzado
when he comes
make
out
a late run in the
post?
Preakness Stakes. And everybody thought, well, maybe Justify can't handle the 1.5 miles. Justify wins the race, Steve. Wire to wire, gate to gate, what they call it in the horse racing industry. It's gate to Katie Justify wins the Triple Crown.
Boy, that's awful. When you do that.
Right on the rail! Nobody knows how he's going to do it.
All right, enough. We have a lot that we still have to cover while this intro music plays, or while this outro music plays. Zach, our VP of whatever for Lucky Billy.
God.
You got a long weekend ahead of you.
Yeah.
Even though it's
Tuesday.
You got to download, or you have to describe, or no, try again. You have to design a logo.
All of those things we said.
For our upcoming box off for limbless dogs.
Charity box off.
That was the Steve and Kyle Limbs for Limbs,
yep.
Number 4, charity box off.
Yep, with the Dare Fund.
To donate money to a charity for dogs that have lost their limbs.
Limbless Dog Association, that's the LLDA.
Remember the whole concept of this? It's a boxing tournament where boxers are outfitted with apparatus that allows them to only punch like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, so the logo has to portray that, also with a limbless dog in each corner.
Yep, and then obviously a seating area for carded dogs only.
Yes, who are there as spectators.
Spectator carded dogs. So that, a lot to do for Zach. We talked about a couple other designs for our side podcast. Zach is, like you said, a busy week. We didn't even get a chance to talk about it this week, Steve. I need to send Zach a picture of me, because he did send the updated version of our future logo.
Oh, he did?
And that is not going to happen.
I need to see it.
He didn't send that?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I'll have to find where it is. I'll have to show you off air.
Okay, in the meantime, you can... I just checked the iTunes feed. We are good. It has been fixed. Every episode, once again, available. So you can enjoy the latest show. Be sure to share, download, subscribe, and review the show on iTunes, the Apple Podcast app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, and Libsyn, SteveandKyle.libsyn.com, or just SteveandKyle.com. Good Lord. I just got a view of the logo that Zach has designed, and it's incredible.
So the picture...
At some point, we will have to tweet that out.
We'll tweet that out, and then that will again not be used because Zach is suspended again.
It's definitely going to be used.
There is no chance that I will be on this podcast for episode 100 if that's used.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.